this session, we will be discussing the freezing curve of fish. Freezing, as we all know, is a low temperature preservation of fish, wherein the temperature is reduced to 0 degrees Celsius or below so as to attain crystallization of whole or part of the water and solubles in the body of fish. As a normal fact, under normal conditions of atmospheric pressure, water crystallizes at 0 degrees Celsius. But this is not the case of every other product. Considering the case of fish, fish will be freezing at a temperature range of -1 degree Celsius to -2 degrees Celsius. This is because of the presence of dissolved solids like salt and chemicals in the water in the flesh of fish. The scientific reason behind this is actually the colligative property of water, which suggests that the presence of solutes in water depresses or lowers the freezing point of water to a value much lower than the normal condition of 0 degrees Celsius. Inside the body of fish, the freezing of water follows a particular pattern. To be more specific, this takes place through 3 different stages, namely initial falling rate period, thermal arrest period, and the third one, final falling rate period. The entire process expressed in the form of a graph or a graphical representation of the different stages of freezing in fish is termed as freezing curve of fish. Now, this is a graph which represents the freezing curve of fish. As you can see, this is divided into 3 stages, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. The x-axis of the graph represents the time taken and the y-axis of the graph represents the temperature. During the stage 1, the temperature falls fairly rapidly to a temperature below 0 degrees Celsius because of the removal of specific heat of water. As the process takes place rapidly, this stage is known as initial falling rate period. Though not apparent in all cases, in most of the cases, supercooling takes place. It is a condition where the temperature of the water falls below 0 degrees Celsius without ice formation or crystallization taking place. As said earlier, in the body of fish, crystallization commences at -1 degree Celsius. So when crystallization commences, the temperature rises a bit. This is mainly because of the release of heat of crystallization. So the temperature rises and reaches the initial point of freezing point of water. This marks the end of stage 1. During the stage 2, as you can see, the temperature remains fairly constant when you compare it with the stage 1. As you can see, a large part of water in the body of fish freezes during this stage, that is at a temperature around -1.1 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius. Around 3/4 of the part of water in the body of fish, or 80% of the water in the body of fish, freezes during this stage. The rate of cooling at this stage determines the size of ice crystals formed, and this stage is thus called as the critical range or zone of maximum crystallization. During the early phases of thermal arrest, the water separates in the pure form and forms ice, either in the pure form or nearly pure form. At the end of thermal arrest, the fish contains very less amount of freezable water in its body. So from here starts the stage 3. Therefore, removal of relatively smaller amount of heat from a concentrated solution requires much reduction in temperature, and this marks the stage 3, which is called as the final falling rate period. The time with which freezing takes place determines the success of the process. The faster the freezing process, the lesser the damage and lesser the spoilage. So, the ideal thermal arrest is considered to be only around 30 minutes. The process of freezing is said to be complete only when an equilibrium temperature is attained in and out as well as in the core region, that is a temperature of around minus 18 degrees Celsius. Under ideal conditions, this minus 18 degrees Celsius can be attained within a time period of 90 minutes. The entire process of freezing can be tabularized in such a form which represents the temperature range and the percentage of water frozen in the body of fish. From this table, you can understand the crystallization process begins at minus 1 degree Celsius. When the temperature drops to around minus 3 degrees Celsius, the percentage of water that is frozen in the body of fish will be around 70%. When the temperature again drops down to around minus 5 degrees Celsius, the percentage of water that is frozen in the body of fish will be around 80%. But when the temperature reaches around minus 25 degrees Celsius, the percentage of water that is frozen in the body of fish is only about 90%, and even at minus 50 degrees Celsius and minus 60 degrees Celsius, almost all and not complete water in the body of the fish is frozen. So from the graph or from the table, you can understand the maximum amount of water or the majority percentage of water gets frozen at a temperature range between minus 1 degree Celsius and minus 5 degrees Celsius. Thank you.